the one thing that I would want to point out and start to dive into a little bit is like, what is a zero knowledge proof? Because I kind of
Yeah.
skipped over that earlier.
Yeah, it's really important to
And
explain.
yeah, and I think that's kind of like well, it is the fundamental kind of aspect of all of these privacy preserving technologies that at least have some level of compliance. And so I found this article from this guy, Darlington Nam, and it's just kind of a brief breakdown of like what zero knowledge proofs are. And I just kind of wanted to pull up this graphic at the very
Yeah,
least.
please.
So essentially, you have a system where you're trying to figure out that something is true without knowing what it is,
Mm.
right? So it's like if I was like, Ben, like, I know your secrets, and you're like, no, you don't, and I'm like, yeah, I do, and you're like, okay, well, prove it. And so I'm like, okay, but if I tell you, then I have to. There's other people in the room, so if I tell you, then everyone's gonna know. So I have to have a way to prove to you that I know something without revealing the information.
Mhm.
And that is what a zero knowledge proof helps to do using math. So he gives a couple of examples of like what this actually looks like. And then he also defines like what qualifies a method as a zero knowledge proof. And so it has to have three major conditions in order for it to be considered a zero knowledge proof. Any system, right, that can accomplish what I just said is a zero knowledge proof technology. So the ones that we see on Zcash are called ZK snarks. Okay, and that stands for something super technical. But a zero knowledge proof has three major conditions. One of them is the completeness, which means that the condition simply means that if the prover is honest and not lying, then they should be able to totally convince the verifier that they're telling the truth. So there should be no ambiguity on whether or not I actually know your secret or not, Ben. That's condition number one. The second condition is the soundness, which means that if Bob was a cheat, if I was cheating, then I should never be able to deceive you into believing that I actually do know or that I cheated in some way. Now, that into believing that I don't know. There should be no way for you to be like, I don't know if you really know or not. It should be obvious. And then
Yeah.
zero knowledge, this condition simply means that Bob should be able to totally convince Alice that he knows the location without revealing it. Cool. So hopefully that made some sense of like what is zero knowledge proof in the first place. Did we explain that? Okay, you think?
Yeah, it made sense to me, but it's most important that people in the chat understand. So if you ever don't understand something, feel free to pose the question. There's no such thing as okay, I'll take that back. There's almost no such thing as a dumb question, but but like for the most part, like if you have the question, someone else probably does too. And so if you feel comfortable asking it, go ahead and throw it up there. So I asked ChatGPT. I said, explain how a zero knowledge proof works to me, like I'm 12 years old.
Fire.
And then the example that they gave was this. Imagine this. You and I are in a cave. There's a secret door in the middle of the cave that only opens if you know a secret password. You want to prove to me that you know the password, but you don't want to tell me what the password is. That's exactly what a zero knowledge proof is. It's almost exactly the same example that you gave. Your example is better, honestly. You're better than ChatGPT. And then the magic part. So after enough tries, in real life with blockchains. Okay. The password is replaced by your private transaction details, like who sent how much money to whom. The system uses complex math, like Keith already said, elliptic curves, cryptographic hashes, etc., to prove that the transaction is valid. The sender has the money. No money was created out of thin air, all without revealing the actual details to anyone. That's a very, very big deal because there's a lot of transactions where you don't want people to know like how much money you have, right? Like all these things that can really potentially be unsafe even if people know how much money you have. We've talked about this before too, where
Mhm.
how like there's a lot of issues with people who have crypto assets who like get things happen to them negatively, right? Because people know what they have. And so it can be very scary if people know that you're sitting on a lot of assets.
Now, here's my favorite part about this. This technology, my prediction, talk to me in 5, 10 years.
Mhm.
This is going to be such a fundamental piece of the internet as we
Totally.
move forward here.
Especially with AI.
Exactly. Exactly. With AI, with this idea, sorry guys, with decentralized and digital identities, okay, we're going to have this technology as a fundamental piece of the way that we interact with the internet. Because not only for the transactions and the financial value, but also for your biometric data. Okay. Your thumb. Okay. It's going into the system. You're going into the cloud. I'm sorry, but you're going to be in the cloud. Your eyeball is going to be scanned. All right. So, with all of that stuff existing in these systems, we're going to have a way to verify information without revealing it. And that is what these zero knowledge proofs can allow for.